Hi, this is Ceema, and today I will be bringing you a new lesson on how to say no. Well, saying no puts us in a very sticky situation, doesn't it? But sometimes it is imperative. It is necessary to say no even to our very good friends, our own parents, or maybe our business partners. Well, there is a way to say no, and there is a way you do it in a way that does not offend the person that you say no to. We will see certain situations and see what kind of expressions we use so that we say no in a polite way. Well, firstly, we need to know what to do when we are saying no to an invitation. Well, imagine you're watching a soccer match and you do not want to be disturbed. You want to watch the match until your team wins, okay? And you hear the doorbell ring, and guess who it is? It's your favorite aunt who is inviting you for a birthday party of her child. Now, you're not the kind of person who wants to go for a social event, so to speak. Well, you want to say no. So what do? Do you say that, no, I don't want to go, just go? That's not polite. In that case, you could say, thank you. I'd really love to, but unfortunately I can't. Well, when you're saying that, what you're really implying is that, you appreciate her invitation, but you can't do it right now because you are doing something else. So that's a polite way of saying no without appearing rude. Or you could tell your aunt that, that sounds wonderful. The party sounds wonderful. Or you can tell her that, look, it sounds wonderful, but I'm sorry, I have to say no. I'm sure the party is going to be great, but I have something else to take care of and I can't really come. I'm sorry. Okay, so this way you are again showing that you would otherwise like to go, but now you just can't. Moving on to saying no to a request for help. Well, when somebody asks for help or asks for assistance, it's kind of very rude to say no because that person really depends on you to kind of pull him out of that situation. But a lot of times in these situations, you're kind of tied down yourself. You're kind of in a situation wherein you can't really help somebody else. So what do you do then? Well, the other day, I was working on a very important project of mine, but a very good colleague of mine came up to me and requested for some assistance on her project. Well, that was a really bad time for me, so I had to turn her down. Well, how do I do that? So I said something like, I really wish I could help you, but my hands are tied. Well, hands are tied, what does that mean? It does not really mean that they are literally tied. It means that my hands are full of a lot of other things. So basically, I couldn't help her even though I wanted to. Or I could say something like, if it were any other day, I'd probably say yes, but you really caught me at a bad time. But you really caught me at a bad time. So this was a bad time for me, so I possibly could not really help her. So I was saying no to my very good friend without having to sound rude. Saying no to something you are unwilling to do. Well, how do you do that? A lot of times we say no to people just because we don't want to do something. We're not interested in what they're asking us to do. So in that case, saying no is not wrong, but there is a way to say that. The other day, I was standing in a line at the photocopying machine. And a friend of mine, well, he comes in between and he tells me that he wants to remove a couple of photocopies himself, but he wants to do it, in the queue and not wait in line for his turn. Well, in most situations, I'd have kind of agreed to doing that, but this time I had to put my foot down. So I said, sorry, I'm in a bit of a rush myself. Well, I didn't push him away. I didn't say that, look, just don't do that. You don't have any right to come in between. But I was trying to sound polite, but making it, very clear that I wouldn't allow him to do that all the time. So At times, you've got to be firm when you are unwilling to do something for someone, but at the same time, you've got to appear polite and not sound very rude. Well, we will now look at some more situations and some more ways of saying no and getting ourselves out from those sticky situations. Well, what do you do when you want to say no to praise? All of us like to be praised. All of us like for ourselves to be complimented. But a lot of times, some praise is more than we deserve. A lot of times, some praise makes us feel uncomfortable. When you are praised, you got to make sure that you accept praise with grace. However, if you want to say no to some kind of praise or compliments, you can say something like, "Thank you, but you are too kind." So, you are saying thank you for the praise that you get, but you feel that you don't really deserve all of it. So you say something like, "Thank you, you are too kind." Sometimes at work, your boss or your supervisor, gives you undeserved praise, and you feel like it's not all your effort, but a team effort, between yourself and your colleagues, and you feel that you shouldn't get all the praise. So you can say something like, "Thank you, but I can't take all the credit. A lot of others have also put in their effort, so it's not just me." So you kind of turn down that praise for a bit. Moving on to saying no to an offer of help. A lot of times, some people offer you help in good faith, and that's very kind of them, but you don't really require that help. And that's when you say no, but you do that politely. What do you say? Sometimes maybe, a porter at the train offers to carry your luggage, but you think you can manage, so you can say something like, "Thank you, but I can manage. I appreciate it." Or you get a new job offer or a promotion, but you feel like, you don't want to go for that job as yet because you're not very, very sure you can keep up to that position. So you can say something like, "I appreciate the offer, but that is not required." Or, "I appreciate the offer, but I need to do something else for now," or, "I'm not ready," something like that. Moving on to saying no to a suggestion. A lot of people give advice. A lot of people give unwanted advice. But there is a way to say no when somebody suggests that you do a certain thing that you do not quite want to do. What do you say? Well, you can say something like, "Look, I really appreciate your concern, but I want to handle this on my own." A lot of people try to, really make you feel that they are there for you, but you can handle the situation on your own. So that's when you kind of, just tell them that it's okay. We appreciate what they want to do for us, but we'd rather do it ourselves. All right. So these are common situations wherein you will have to say no, but make sure that you say no in a way that is polite and not rude. Well, that's it from me for this chapter on how to say no. Make sure that you say no, but do it in a nice way. Until then, I'll keep seeing you.